Got it.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's another episode of Powder Room. I'm Jess, and this is Sean.
Hey, how you guys doing today? Today we have a special guest. Her name is Dr. Segal. She's a PT floor expert. She will give you the ins and out of what ladies should be doing with your pelvic floor, like Kegels and exercise, and how we should handle ourselves as ladies. So, Dr. Segal, um, give us a little spill about pelvic floor, and also let us know why and how you got into this specialty.
Right. So thanks for having me, first of all. Um, and pelvic floor is, I think, very misunderstood by people. They think it's like something that only women experience, or dysfunction is something that only women experience, but anyone can have dysfunction or things not go the way they're supposed to with their pelvic floor because everyone has a pelvic floor. Animals have a pelvic floor too. And the pelvic floor is just a group of muscles and ligaments and connective tissue, and bones that sit at the base of the pelvis. And it has a bunch of different functions, from being able to control bowel and bladder to sexual function and even stability, function as well, which can be something like back that can cause back pain if there is instability, or hip pain, or leg pain. So it can limit your movement, it can limit sexual function, it can limit bowel and bladder habits too.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. And then to answer your other question too, I got into it because I developed dysfunction when I was pregnant with my first, 10 years ago now. And I didn't realize it at the time until a year after he was even born. And at the time I was a student in pelvic floor. I was a student of physical therapy.
Okay.
And even then I didn't realize that it was so specific to pelvic floor, and that a general doctor or orthopedic, even physical therapist, couldn't handle it either. It was very specialized.
Okay. So, how long have you been? You said 10 years, right?
Well, my son was, my issue started when I was pregnant with him 10 years ago, but I've been actively working in the field for 2000 since 2015. The last couple of years, as most of us know, has just been a blur. So like,
Yes.
I'm like,
COVID
how
got
long
us all messed up. We got the COVID fog over here.
No
We
worries.
never have this stuff either.
Seriously, I'm still like stuck in 2020, honestly. So, but since 2015, is when I really got into the pelvic floor world.
Okay. So, what are the myths about pelvic floor? Because I mean, I know for me, we had discussed this because you are my doctor. Um, I thought, just using the bathroom and holding it would, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing great. And you were like, no, Shonda, we need some work done.
More than that.
And I was like, I was holding it.
Right. Right. So, I mean, one of the biggest myths, as I mentioned, is that people think only women experience this, and only women experience this after they've had a baby, which is so not the case. Like, my issues started while I was pregnant, which probably even started well before that too, because having been in the work, I realized like, oh my goodness, I've been chronically constipated practically my entire life. And that was part of the dysfunction as well, that I didn't even know until I became pelvic floor PT. So yeah, there's myths around it, around who can have pelvic floor dysfunction. And then another big one is people think like, oh, you have a pelvic floor dysfunction, just do Kegels, that will fix
Yes.
it. But no,
Yes.
that don't.
That's what I was always told.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Medical doctors would tell you that too. You could go to the OBGYN. No offense to OBGYNs. I do love some of them, right? But they'll say like, oh, just do your Kegels. Well, you know what? Most people don't even know what that is. They don't
How
know
to
how to really do it.
Do it. Yes.
And it
Because
might
I'm that
make
person.
it, right?
And she'll tell you, I was like, I'm doing it. She was like, no, you push it out. I'm like, I know. She's like, you push it
Right.
out. Girl. I'm like,
Right. So most people don't even realize how to actually do it. And even if they're told what it's supposed to be, they think they're doing it, but you're really not, right? And then also it can actually make your issues worse. So it's not for everybody. Just doing Kegels is not like the magic pill for everything. So those are probably the two big ones.
So just to say with my exam, because I'm letting people know, because I want them to know, and I want everybody to be educated on this, because once I spoke to you, I felt comfortable. We talked about trauma in the area, which I had trauma in the area because I was molested at a young age. And so we discussed the trauma and the pain, and you told me to use this wand. So when I use the wand, I've been using it now, and I've been pretty good at it. I have been going to the bathroom better since we had talked about bladder control and constipation, because I was constipated a lot. With me, it wasn't vaginal that I had got molested. It was anal. So that could have been a cause of me not doing my Kegels right, or actually functioning right down there. But since I've been doing it, I know the difference in my body. So a lot of women go through this, and I just wanted to share my story the with the world, which is this is the first time I actually brought this out. Besides talking to Dr. Segal about it. So I don't want women to be ashamed of this. I want you to go ahead and learn more about yourself. So
Right.
with
There's
that
a lot of
being
shame
said,
around. There's a lot of shame around, pelvic floor issues. And as you mentioned, a lot of it, there's always some kind of trauma piece. Not always, but a lot of times there's a trauma piece into it. And sometimes my patients don't even recognize it. I can recognize it and they don't even recognize it. And I'm like, oh man, I've had therapists come in as patients and I could recognize their trauma. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is supposed to be your jam, right?
yeah.
Well, it's easy to do therapy, not to receive it. So
That's true. Yes, very, very true. But yeah, one of the big things I'd love to advocate is for people to just be more open about their issues, because the more we talk about it, the more we can normalize talking about it, not the issues, but normalize talking about the issues so that we can recognize that, oh, there is something that can be done. And then for people to get the help that they need.
And that's why we started this show, Dr. Siegel, because in our community as Black women, we know our grandmothers, our moms, they really never talked about the issues that we have. And we still go about thinking, oh, this is what Nana said. Or this is what we're supposed to do. No, what your grandmother knew, she didn't know. She knew a little, and now we want to educate everybody on improving our self-care, because right now Black people are dying from certain things, from not being educated. And so that's why we have this show for our wellness. And anybody else, we don't discriminate, but this is mostly for African Americans and people of color, but everybody's welcome. That being said, anything else you want to add to it? Because I have moms come to me for postpartum massages, and that's my specialty. I'm a massage therapist. I specialize in women's wellness, and Jess is a psychotherapist, but she also is a birthing doula. So we have moms come to us about after having their babies or during their birth, but mostly postpartum. After they have the baby, they have a lot of pelvic or back pain issues, and I have referred some of my clients to Dr. Siegel, and she helped them out. But with their joints, they always having issues. So and especially in a pelvic area, you can tell us a little bit about what to do for postpartum as well.
Right. So women come postpartum most of the time when something's wrong, right?
Yes.
But why not come before that?
Right.
Right. I always encourage. So, after you have a baby, you go to your, now they're doing like a 3-week checkup and maybe a 4 or 6 week checkup or 8-week checkup too. After that, that's like standard care.
Yeah.
But healing takes place during that time, and healing takes place after that time, right? And if you're just totally left on your own, you kind of don't really know what's normal and what's not normal. So I always encourage anyone postpartum to come just for a checkup, just to find out where things are and how you are doing, right? And we may find out that, oh, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of scar tissue, there's hesitation or anxiety or even trauma around the birth experience, and that needs to be worked through. Otherwise, it's going to show up during intimacy with their partners, and may show up and care for the baby and care for themselves as well. And they don't even make that connection, but a lot of emotion and trauma gets stored in that area. And going through the birth experience, that could be a traumatic experience on the body. Even if you don't recognize that mentally as a traumatic experience, your body recognizes it as a traumatic experience.
Right.
So where can we come to you? What's your location? What's your new events that's going on in your business? Could you put that out there for everybody to know?
Right. So I see patients one-on-one and clients one-on-one too in my office in Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. I also do virtual consults and coaching as well as PT online, virtually as well. So if anyone lives in New Jersey, I can do physical therapy virtually or in person. Outside of New Jersey, I can do coaching and consulting. And I also do coaching and consulting for people in New Jersey as well. It just depends on, their needs.
Yeah. And you also were you like in New York? I remember you had like things going on in the city as well. Have you still doing the city or not?
No, I'm just in New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she has 3 lovely children. She's a mom as well. So, and you have an event coming up and you do you still doing Pilates?
Right. So yeah, I've sort of branched out quite a bit. So I do Pilates, I do yoga, I do meditation, because I've come across a lot of people with trauma, right? And it's stuck in the body. Really, I now incorporate a lot of those like holistic practices, mind body practices in parts of my treatment, as well as just like coaching as well. So I do Pilates, I do yoga, I do meditation, I do sound bath healings, and I do events like well-being events. I have an event coming up at the end of the month where it's yoga for stress and anxiety. Every month I'm going to try to do like a different theme, but basically it's to like get people in their bodies, because our lives are so busy. We end up moving outside of our bodies and outside of ourselves, and we live in the external world, and we totally neglect and forget our internal world, and that needs to be nourished as well.
Yes.
It's perfect. Now, how can we get more information about the yoga for stress and anxiety?
So it's on my website. I have a couple websites going. My wellness stuff lives more on my wellness website, which is my personal website, and it's drkenealsegal.com. And I have all my events up there and my coaching up there as well. And on my business physical therapy website, that's lotuspt.com. And that's more information around specific pelvic health recovery. But obviously, I do a little bit of everything. I blend things, I don't do physical therapy without doing the mind body, and I don't do mind body without, the physical therapy.
That's why I love you so much, and you keep it real. Like, one thing I can say about Dr. Segal, she's going to keep it real with you. She's going to make you do a treatment plan, and she's going to call you up and be like, are you doing it? Are we working on this, Shonda? And I'm like, I'm trying.
It's important though, like when you're working with someone, just to feel encouraged by them, on a personal level, but also on that physical sense where you're helping them create those plans and then kind of calling them out if they don't,
Yeah. And pelvic health recovery, right? Or healing, as I like to call it. It's not like a one-time done and move on with it, right? Like it becomes a practice. It becomes a ritual, really, where it's like something that you do on a regular basis. And so I've been like a big proponent of self-care, because this is self-care, right? Taking care of your body and knowing your body, it's a form of self-care and love. So it's, self-love, self-care.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, remember when I had said I bought those yoni eggs and I had the candy balls and all that good stuff, and she was like, put it away.
Really? Because it's like this big thing, everyone
wants. So I'm gonna let ladies know, listen, before you buy these items, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good items, but first go see a PT. And it has to specialize in pelvic floor, and I'm going to say Dr. Segal, okay. Go to a PT specialist first that works with pelvic floor. see and get an exam on your body first before you start testing out these things, because I thought those things were going to help me, and what I was doing was not helpful. It could have been harmful. So she told me what instrument to get, and I got this wand that vibrates. And we did like some trigger points on my trauma area. And now, since I've been doing it, I continue to do it, Dr. Segal. Um, it's helped. It's helped a lot. I've been going to the bathroom. I had no constipation issues. I've been using a lot of fiber. I've been doing a lot of exercise. I've been doing the pelvic floor exercise, which is like the bridges and breathing techniques and things of that nature. And I feel a difference.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and the fact that
then
you're
I'll
still
go
doing it after
babysit
so
back to
long.
those
Yeah.
yoni balls and all that good stuff. So I'm so
Right.
happy that you came on and that you shared your specialty with us. And we would like to ask you to give information to the women, some type of, you know, positive quote or positive word to give to the ladies.
Right. So when you had sent that over, I was thinking like, what could I say? Right. And I actually, when was it? The end of last year. So December 2021, I created affirmation cards. And these affirmations are really my affirmations that I decided to share with everyone. And I share them too with my patients and my clients, but I decided to actually turn them into something. So those are on my website too, drkenealsegal.com. And I pulled one of them, and I thought this one was a good one. It says, I trust the messages from my body as an internal source of wisdom. Because a lot of times, as I mentioned before, our body feels things and responds way before we can think about it and even process it, right? So the messages from our bodies, we often ignore them until they become louder and louder, until they become pain and until they become dysfunction. And then we get mad at our bodies for being painful or for not working or doing what we intend for it to do. But if we just flip our perception a little bit, instead of looking at this as like this thing that happened to my body or my body's doing this and it's a negative thing, we flip it and think like, what is my body trying to tell me? Because my body is a source of wisdom and it's trying to tell me something about my internal environment, and really just looking inwards to see like what is going on here. It's a source of wisdom, right? So a pelvic floor dysfunction, you can't go to the bathroom, you're constipated. What is that telling you? Maybe you're holding a lot of tension. Where does that tension come from? When does that tension become greater, right? Your body has the answers to all of this. You just have to stop and listen.
I like that. You
Perfect.
do. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so
And
much, Dr.
we
Siegel.
hope to we hope to see you soon. And please go to her workshops. They're awesome. She's a wonderful person and she does talk to you one-on-one. She's not like one of those doctors that's kind of brush you off. She listens and she takes everything in and she's going to keep it 100 with you. So be 100 with her. So that being said, go to her website, check her out. She only has 3 spots left because I was trying to get in there. I'm still trying. She's like, I got 3 spots. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta hurry up. So, but she said she's gonna have them once a week. So
Once a month. Yeah.
once a month. So check out her website.
We'll add the links to the link as well.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This is
Bye.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.